Awesome. Welcome. I am Dr. Emily, and I am super excited today. Normally, I interview senior devs, and I've also interviewed, other people in tech. But today, I have a really special guest, one of our former students turned contractor for us, staff engineer, Braden Kuchner. So thank you so much for joining us today, Braden. I'm super excited to share your story. And what I just love your journey because at TechJoy Software, we hire from within. So we train students, we provide hands-on internship experiences. And then we also, when it makes sense and it's like a match on both sides, we also, sometimes hire some of our students to contract for us in our software company and actually get to build really cool things. So welcome, Braden. So excited to have you today. And I'm just curious, can you just share a little bit about like who you are, like where you're from, and like how your journey has really evolved for you since, you joined a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and kind of share my journey with all of you guys. So in terms of my journey, so I actually started off in the biochemistry field. So I got a 4-year degree, a bachelor's degree in biochemistry from BYU, and I was continuing in some academic research there, and it just ended up not being a great long-term solution for me. I really enjoy biochemistry as a hobby, but
Mm-hmm.
as a job, it just wasn't really working out. So when I got my degree, I had actually taken a couple of classes that sparked my interest in coding. So I took
Nice.
an analytical chemistry class where they kind of just threw us in the deep end and said, hey, you have some data that you collected in the lab. Now go and analyze it using MATLAB. And
Nice.
that
So
was
that was your first
actually,
exposure to programming?
basically, yeah.
Nice. Nice.
um, and that ended up being my favorite part of the class, was like looking up stuff about MATLAB and figuring out like, okay, like we have this data, like how the heck do we analyze it?
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up taking 2 more classes as an undergrad, like an intro to programming and then data structures and algorithms,
Nice.
and really, really enjoyed those as well. So when things kind of went down the drain a bit with my biochemistry research that I was doing, I remembered all the fun that I had coding, and I was like, hey, maybe I'll give that a shot.
That's awesome. I love that. And now you get to do it like all the time, which is so cool. That's awesome. So so that's awesome that you had that experience working in biochem, and this is how college works. Sometimes we find the right major, sometimes we don't, right? And so I love that you're able to take those like, related courses and really find a calling that you really enjoyed. So hats off. That's awesome. And so at this point, like, what does your dream tech career look like? You're kind of like you've kind of been transitioning into it, like kind of slowly here, right? So what does the dream look like? What's the dream look like for you?
Honestly, just any career where I get to sit down and solve problems
Yeah.
and when necessary, using code to do so. But
I love that. I love that. Well, and
um,
yeah, that's awesome. No, please continue.
yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with full stack web development right now, and recently I've been getting more into the DevOps side of things, and that's been
Mhm.
super fun as well. So maybe I'll transition to more DevOps in the future. I also kind of have a bit of a hobby with lower level programming.
Nice.
When I took those classes in college, they were in C++. So I kind of have a bit of a secret hobby where I dabble in C++ and C from time to time.
I love that. It does
So
need to stay secret.
so maybe in the future, maybe I'll get into some embedded systems programming or something. But
Nice. That's
for now,
awesome. I
I'm just
love
having
it.
a lot of fun with what I'm doing right now.
Good. That's incredible. No, sometimes that lower level programming can be really fun. And I know I liked like how simple it can be, right? Like it's really about building something cool. And it's just so great to have that experience because full stack is one mode of coding, but it's a very specific mode. And sometimes when you get into embedded programming and C and C++, that allows you to see the bigger picture. So I love that you're getting that. That's super awesome. Love it. So, so good. And so I'm just curious, like, what was the original? I know it was a while ago because we've been working together really closely for a while now. And so I was curious, what was like the biggest challenge that you were having before you joined TechJoy, right? That that really, you know, drew you in. It's like, I need to do this.
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Oh man, all right. I can't wait for Braden to come back and let us know. But just to give you all some background, is that when Braden, so okay, cool. I don't have to give background. I'll let you give background.
Sorry about that. I just had to take care of something real quick.
No worries. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay. Sorry, one more time. Could you repeat the question?
It's all good. So the idea is like when you first joined the TechJoy Academy, right? Like we've been working together a long time. So Braden is a student who really came through the ranks. He already had some coding experience, but then he became an intern, he became a junior dev, and now he's part of our engineering team, like that we lean on when we have new projects, which is just awesome. We'll talk more about that in a second. But I was just curious, Braden, like originally, what drew you to be like, this TechJoy Academy, this is something that I need?
Yeah, that's a super great question. So I had originally signed up for a boot camp.
Nice.
And when I was reading some reviews about the boot camp, the biggest thing that came up was like you do 12 weeks and then they just kind of dump you and get rid of you. And there's no community, nothing with like nothing with like them actually helping you get a job, right? And so the biggest thing that really drew me to the Joy of Coding Academy was just the promise of like having a community, which turned out to be fulfilled, by the way. The Joy of Coding community has been amazing in every way. And that's like, I think one of the biggest parts that really sets the Joy of Coding Academy apart. I've met like just so many friends and people that like, and we all just kind of support each other with whatever we're working on or with our job hunt or anything else. And so like I've just been able to create a lot of really good friendships and also make a lot of connections with people that I wouldn't have made otherwise.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know it can be hard when a student is like comparing different boot camps, like which way to go. And everybody says, oh yeah, we have community. Oh yeah, we support you. But it's hard to really know, like, is that true? Is that really happening? And so it's great feedback. So thank you so much, Braden, that I think we have an awesome community, right? I'm definitely biased on that. But I think community is probably one of our most powerful aspects because we invest in it because we know that your ability to communicate and land like and nail that interview is based on your communication. What's the easiest way to practice that communication? Talking to other people that are speaking the same language, right? Talking tech all the time. And so we facilitate that and we really organize structure around that internally in our community to help that happen, whether it's in the training phase and we have our peer mentors or on the internship where we have a hierarchy where students advance and eventually for paid spots, right? Some of our most advanced students get it like Braden, get it invited to paid and compensated roles. And that just, it's built on learning, it's built on community. And so we're all helping each other build better, right? Like it's kind of that emphasis. And so it's built into the ethos of who we are. So thank you, Braden, for being an awesome part of that community. We love having you, right? Super awesome. Cool. So I guess, there was a reason back in the day that you wanted to go to a boot camp in the first place. Was it because after getting a degree, you're like, you know what? I really want to do coding full time. Was that kind of like your motivation?
Yeah, exactly. So I started doing some learning on my own,
Nice.
just through some like courses online, like on Udemy and a few other sites like that. And um, I was learning some, and it was interesting, but it just wasn't like making a full connection for me. I needed a little bit more structure than just
Yeah.
trying to pick things up on my own.
Right.
Um, and
I can
a little
totally.
bit more of like personalized guidance as well,
Yeah.
which is another thing that has been really awesome with TechJoy and the Joy of Coding Academy is like having access to coaches that can like actually help you through things. For example, I've been working with or Coach Adam here for I guess about a year now.
He's one of
And
our
just the
senior
amount
devs.
that I
Like,
picked it,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and just the amount that I picked up from like working alongside him and having him like guide me through things is just it's just crazy. Like it's just like all of the distilled knowledge from his like 10 plus years of experience down
Yeah.
into like helping me with like the internship projects and such
Mhm.
that I worked on. So
Yeah.
like just having access to those people and like a little bit more structure was really helpful for me.
That's awesome. Thank you, Braden. So, just for anyone else who who may not know how we work, is as students advance, they get access to our senior dev mentors. And so, at Coach Adam is one of our senior devs. He has over 15 years experience in industries, worked for startups, for bigger companies. Right? He's one of these A players. Right? Like he lost his tech job recently. He wasn't worried about it. He had savings. He just applied until he got one because he knew he was going to get one. Because like when you actually know what you're doing, you are always in demand. Like there is like the only people that have to worry about their jobs are the people that don't actually know what they're doing because there's not that many. There's just not that many. This is why AI can replace them because like it actually requires these skills. And so Coach Adam has been working with Braden and our other, tech leads, in our internship to help design. So eventually students start out as an intern and they're just doing a little tiny ticket for a bigger project, right? The project's already moving. It already has its own culture and architecture and tech setup. And you're just like fitting yourself in, right, to the system. But then eventually our students graduate to the point where they're taking a technical leadership role and they actually get to design and architect a system in consultation with our senior devs. And so that's an experience that Braden has gotten to have, which is just it's literally like you're like downloading 15 years of experience in these little like 15-minute micro chunks, right? Like, so Braden, do you think this like process has like really accelerated your learning for like and like obtaining like and approaching where like Adam is, but like in less time?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, like just all of his years of experience have just kind of been distilled down into like just sessions where I've worked with him. Like on the
Mhm.
Consamble project that I've been working on, I guess, since like the end of February,
Yeah.
beginning of March. Um, I just got to sit down with Adam and we did the system design and such from the ground up and have just kind of built on it from there. So like just getting that experience that he's had in especially in system design
Right.
just kind of distilled down into like this project has been really awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you, Braden. Now, I don't know if you can answer this question. This might be tough, but like, could you give us just like a little sneak peek or an example of like a situation where it was like, okay, like, because you've been studying, like Braden's one of our top students, like top grads, like, so like he knows what he's doing. So can you give us an example where you thought like, hey, maybe you proposed this way of doing things, but Adam was like, well, wait, you want to consider X, Y, and Z because it's really this way. Do you have any like little examples you can give for us? I know this might be hard to remember.
No, I think that's a great question. Yeah, I think a really interesting play kind of back and forth that we had was in terms of just data storage. So
Mm. Mhm.
this app that we're building is called Consamble, and it's a multi-platform app. So currently it's only on the web, but eventually it will be on the iOS store and Android store.
Later
So
this
when you're
fall.
anticipating, yeah, yeah. So when you're anticipating, I guess, a multi-platform app, you have to like it's really helpful from the ground up if you design your data storage around it being multi-platform. So for example, like with a smartphone app, like what if the person pulls up the app and they don't have access to Wi-Fi or cellular, right? Like
Mhm.
how are they going to get the data? So like a lot of before this project, a lot of the experience that I had with data was a traditional kind of back-end database, so SQL, NoSQL, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, but the way Adam proposed doing it was through a local storage first data
Mhm.
solution. so that not only like will it work on the web, but it also will like very easily work on like a mobile device, and it speeds up mobile load times because the app is just the data is just there and ready to go. So like the data doesn't have to be fetched from a server somewhere, so it speeds up mobile load times quite a bit and makes the mobile experience a lot more like user friendly. So I feel like that's a
Awesome.
pretty good example of where he kind of stepped in and gave a better solution.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's awesome. So you like you're historically like the experience you had had was working with SQL databases. So walking into an app development situation, you were thinking, okay, well, we'll do the same thing we've done before. But with app, development, there's this special consideration. And actually, Adam's first job was as the sole tech developer for a startup for an app. And so like he has a lot of experience there. So he's like, well, you want to consider this. And so like that might have taken you a few weeks maybe to like figure out, or like we might have waited until we're like at the app store development phase and now we have to redo all the development that you just did for the past 6 months. Right, like
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
like that's the power of experience, is like some of these things you don't even, these questions you don't even know to ask until you get down there. Like as technologists, in TechJoy, we train all of our students in being able to solve any kind of tech problem. And so like everyone has tools, everyone learns these tools of like how to go about solving problems, but there is a role of experience, right? And that's like so that you don't actually have to go through the pain of like learning everything by experience. Like we have to know how to learn from experience because it's how technology works. But when there's experiences that other people have had that are more common knowledge, but maybe you don't know to ask them, like that's where a senior developer can just be like, oh yeah, no, sidestep that. You're gonna, and they can tell you why in a few minutes. So you don't have to live it. They can just be like, oh yeah, been there, done that. You want to skip this, right? Like they can just
Yeah.
kind of point you. So that's awesome. No, thank you so much, Braden. That's a wonderful, wonderful example. And I think,
I think, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
sorry, no, please continue. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's one of the most freeing things in tech, actually, is realizing that what you want to do, like, like it's been done before. Like, it's probably a solved problem. So, like,
Yeah.
getting that help from someone who's been there is always like a great solution in tech.
Yeah. Like I guess my approach is I bring the problem, I say, who is this problem easy for? And then I bring it to them and I ask them. And eventually you encounter problems that no one has solved before. And then at least what I find is when you bring it to an expert, even if they can't help you, they give you that confidence that like, oh no, it's not just me. This is a true problem and like no one knows the answer. And so then when it takes you 2 weeks to figure it out, you don't feel bad about it. You're like, wow, look, I just did this thing no one else has ever done before. Right. Like
For sure, yeah.
that's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. And we're really like as an academy, we literally just started a brand new program where we're giving students even more access to senior devs, not just, right now in the academy, students that join and become really advanced interns, they get that direct access to, our senior devs like Coach Adam. But now we actually created a whole, we wanted to give more people that experience. And so we actually created a whole program where it's like just senior devs. Like you just get to hang out and work with them, which is pretty cool. I'll drop the link on that. If anybody is interested, we just launched our first cohort. We started it last night. So it's not too late. If you did want to like know more about it, happy to talk to you about it, but we'll be starting another cohort again in the spring. So that's so cool. I'm curious, Braden, was there like a key moment when everything clicked for you as a coder where you just like, or was it like a really gradual just increasing of knowledge?
I think it was more like a step function where just like having a lot of those little moments has made like
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
staircase leading to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of those little like bursts of inspiration, I think, have just come a little bit over time. So for example, like learning about data structures at the very bottom of that kind of
Right.
staircase, right? Like realizing like, oh, like these are like the industry standards for like how people actually store data. Like cool. Like if I know these, then like I know how to like store and format data for like the rest of my career, basically.
Yeah.
So just like those little steps, more and more leading up, or like another little step, maybe like learning about NPM. Like this is how like modern web projects like store their dependencies and like keep track of dependencies. Like cool, like awesome.
Right.
So just a bunch of like little steps like that over
That's
time.
awesome. I love that. And I think it's cool, like to reflect back, like you shared, you're like, gosh, data structures, this is standard. I learned this once and I'm good for like my career. Like it's incredible how many little things in tech do serve your career. So they do, like, it's worth mastering them and really owning them. And then there's the things that are just brand new that no one knows, and then learning how to learn those. But that's like a skill, that learning how to learn skill. It's just so critical for technologists, right, in solving those different projects. So awesome. I love that. Thank you so much, Braden. And actually, I did want to ask because, Braden's in such a unique position, having been an intern and then being promoted to a junior dev and serving as a tech lead on Consemble. And then now most recently as a staff engineer for a team of 2 that really, to be honest, in the past month, our company, TechJoy Software, created the fastest prototype we've ever done. Like literally, Braden and one of our other, staff engineers, Bobe, they sat down for, I don't know, like 4 or 5 weeks, like 6 weeks tops, and just like powered through and created this brilliant, amazing, incredible app. The client is ecstatic. They can't wait to get out there and sell the prototype. So just curious, like, what was that experience like, having gone through the academy progression and then to get to just like create something like that fast? Like, what was that like? Was it fun to work on it? Like, yeah, just tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Or it's just a blur. It was just
it has been a bit of a blur, honestly. I'm trying to think back, like, what did we even actually do these last 4 weeks? I mean, it's been incredible from the start. Bope did an amazing job just getting like the first front end cut stuff built out. Like he just zoomed through that, and so
well,
I
he's been
started
that press for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
It shows. Yeah.
And so I spent like my initial time, just setting up a lot of like the data storage and such on the back end, and figure out some stuff with like user authentication and such. So it's basically like everything that I've learned over the last couple of years at TechJoy. Like
Right.
I used it all in this project.
Right. And then just implement it in like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
Like
Here we go.
user authentication, API design and data management, data storage, DevOps, so setting up AWS infrastructure for storing documents and such, and the proper, configurations for all of that. If any of you guys haven't worked with AWS before, AWS can be a real beast to work with sometimes. So
even when it doesn't go down like it did yesterday.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
But having had that experience on other projects working with AWS has been super good for this project, because I was just able to take some of those same things that I learned and apply them to like our document storage for this project. And those are just a couple of like the moving pieces that I've been working on for the app. And it has been a bit of a blur, but it's been a lot of fun.
As long as it's fun, that's what I really wanted to highlight, because I think it must be cool, like, because you kind of learned all these things the first time on the Consemble project, and then for this most recent project, you just got to just like build it and like put all those things together. But it's not quite the same project, right? There are differences. They're actually very different, but like in terms of the technical, there's a lot of similarities in infrastructure. So was that kind of like fun, like getting to see it and like kind of transfer your learning from one project to another?
It was fun. Yeah, I mean, like you said, once you've been in tech for a little while, you start seeing patterns all over the place, and it's just like taking those same patterns and adopting them for whatever new project you're working on.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the things in tech that people miss sometimes when they're learning. Because when you first learn something, oh my goodness, it takes months and months and months. And then because Consemble, to build that prototype, we probably spent like 6 months building the Consemble prototype, I would think. And then we literally took that learning and then translated into 6 weeks. So it's like the learning transfer and the speed, like it just, right. Like,
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. That's awesome. I love it. So I'm curious, Braden, do you have any advice for aspiring developers, for those who are still, looking to learn and kind of get their foot in the job hunt, that, those that are learning, starting to learn how to code, or those that are like really launching on the job market? Any advice for people just getting started?
I'm not very good at giving advice, but I actually do have two things I think that have been very helpful.
Sure.
The first one might sound a little cliche, but I think so. Consistency always beats intensity. So if you're just starting out and you're on your coding journey, doing a little bit every day will always, I think, put you in a better position than if you like just cram a few hours in one day and then don't do anything.
That's super smart. Yeah, and in fact, the academy is really designed around that, like 2 hour a day. You can, do a sprint and be a hero on the weekends, but it works a little bit better because you're learning a new language, new way of communicating with the world. Like, it helps to do it little by little. That's awesome. Braden, you said you had a second one though.
Yes. And give me a second to recall it. You might have already flown the coop there.
Okay. It's okay.
I got so passionate talking about
It's all good. It's okay. If it comes back up, let us know.
I'm the kind of person where if I don't write something down, it's gone.
Yeah,
like
and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because that helps us be present in the moment, right? It's super cool. That's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Braden, for sharing that. And I think if there's anyone watching that is applying for jobs and really looking to break into tech, I do want to drop one more link in the chat. If you're interested, you can absolutely join us and follow the pathway that Braden has followed. We do typically hire from within, and so and we are looking to expand the team. So this is definitely something that could be available to you. So if you go to our website at techjoy.software, techjoy.software, software, you can get on our list, ask us questions. Yes, there's a real human, usually me, DMing you on the other side of the text messages. So just if you have questions, let us know. Please give us patience as we get back to you because we value you and we want to give you the honor of a human response. We do use AI, but we don't usually use it to respond. Usually we're very human oriented there because we understand that there's a human side of learning and community, right? And that's something that we really value. So again, if you're thinking about, getting a tech job and you're really looking for experience on your resume, so like the experience that Braden has had on the internship, this is what can open the door for interviews. We're pleasant, we want to support Braden in getting whatever kind of job he's looking for. We're also thrilled that he's still with us because we love working with him. But so, but I think that, if you really want to get your foot in the door for an interview, having our internship experience on your resume is really what allows most of our students to be successful. And so if you're interested in that, we do have a little bit of pre-training that goes with it. But yeah, just let me know. We've had some really great experiences from our students, and we also just started that Tech Innovators program. If you do really want to look for opportunities to learn directly from senior devs, these are people earning well over 6 figures, right? That we're talking 150K plus, sometimes in the 200 or 300K range. This is their day job. This is what they do. They're at the highest levels of software companies. Yeah, we have a program for that too. So would love to have you. So please don't hesitate to reach out, and you can comment here. So, Braden, thank you so much for joining. I do have one final question, and that's, do you have any questions for me? You don't have to, but now is your moment. I know I see you a lot, but do you have any questions?
So really quick before I ask you questions, I do remember the other advice.
Perfect. That's great. I love it.
Yeah. So I was going to say, if in your coding journey, I would recommend doing coding tutorials. You'll just be stuck there for forever, and I don't think, at least for me, I didn't really learn much from those tutorials, or what I had learned didn't really stick. But actually, having a project that you want to build and starting to build it, and then you'll run it And then you'll run into a wall eventually where it's like, I don't know how to do this. And then getting some help, from the internet or other sources for like how to do that one thing, like really just like kickstarts your learning. Like actually like having to learn something to get a project to work like is just like, I think the secret like cheat code for like actually learning.
It is. Oh my goodness. You're so right, Braden. It's why we've structured the academy the way we have, because I saw that as a professor for, over 10 years. I was like, where are the students leveling up? When in their journey? And it's when they do projects. Because like, when you don't have a project, you can let it slide. You can get out of it. Like, so when I say get out of it, you get out of the opportunity of learning and advancing, because sometimes leveling up is uncomfortable and frustrating because it usually means we've hit a block. And sometimes hitting that block, it's not our favorite. And so if you didn't have to do it for a project, would you? Or would you just be like, I'm going to do this thing over here. It's easier, right? And so when you have a concrete project and goal and outcome, it forces you to learn and grow and level up. I love that you see that, Braden, because that is exactly baked into everything that we do here. I love it. So good. Excellent. So Braden, any questions for me before we go for the day?
Well, I think maybe just for fun.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about coding, just for fun?
Oh, that's a good one. To be honest, I think part of my favorite part about coding was like, are you freaking kidding me? How dare you be difficult? And I just and so like that, but the thrill of getting it working, right? Like and I really do. I feel like some of the best coders, we almost have like this feeling of the way code needs to be. Like, I've always been drawn to creating neat and tidy code. And I've learned to use that as as an approximate way to figure out if someone's advanced or not, is by how neat their code is. Because if you value how neat your code is, it's because you want to read it nice and you know that other people might read it. Because code is really a means of communicating, not just with the computer, but with other humans. And so like, it's like, I'll see stinky code, like it's called code smells, and it's like nails on a chalkboard. Like I can't let it be. Like I have to fix it. Like a compulsion, right? But I feel like a lot of us technologists have some of those compulsions because it's what helps us create really clean code where it bothers us. Like no one's saying, hey, you have to make your code like this. It's just like, oh my God, I can't let this live like this. I can't handle it, right? And so one of the things that I do with coding is I'm always solving a problem twice, right? What's the expedient way that's going to solve it now? I need a Band-Aid. It's like duct taping a leak on a pipe. Like that duct tape is not holding. You need to go get that soldering iron, right? But like it's going to make it work now. And then what's the down so we know later when like things fall apart, that's the reason why, if we never decide to pay for it or if the client never pays for it, right? So yeah, I just love the thrill of getting it working when it wasn't. It's like, yes, we did it. The high.
that loop of having a problem and then solving it and such, it just gets kind of addicting, honestly. Like you said, that burst of dopamine that you get when something is solved and working, it feels very, very
and then
nice.
eventually you get it, but it's almost like a drug because you need a bigger hit, right? Because then these problems are easy, and so now you have to go to different problems. It's like almost the pathway for a committed technologist is like you want to keep solving those problems, right? I think for me personally, where I really found my vibe is an innovation period. And so I've started to kind of veer into business because that's what kind of brings in the innovation pieces. For me, it's the marriage of tech and business together. But I use the same techniques that I used to debug a program. I used to debug my life. I used to debug my finances, right? My revenue streams, like to debug businesses. Like it's the same process, right? It's the same process no matter what. So pretty cool.
Something for me that has been a lot of fun is as a tech lead, mentoring like other junior developers and interns and such. Like I almost relive those like little bursts of dopamine when I see them like have that moment. Like when I like break down a problem or a feature in the tickets, I try and like sometimes it just needs to get done. But sometimes if we have a little bit of leeway, I try and like break down a ticket in a way that I know will push like one of the interns to grow by doing it. Just enough for them to have to reach up a little further where it's like, oh, like it clicked for them and they get it. Like that can also be really a lot of fun.
I love that. It's the reasons why I love teaching too, right? Because once you get good at these skills, it's like, okay, I can just go solve bigger, better problems. That's one way. But for me, I really enjoy teaching others. And so for me, what makes it fun and exciting is showing someone else how to do it, right? And like, I love that you have that experience of breaking problems down, because one of the best ways to deepen our learning and really ascend to that expert level is by explaining it to others, right? I learned so much more as a teacher. I feel like I never got recursion until I had to teach it, as an example, right? Like, and then finally I got it so well I could like teach it in my sleep. But like, I mean, I wasn't truly teaching recursion and knowing it until I was probably like at least 4 years in as a professor. I'd already studied computer science for 10 years, got my PhD, and it was like I didn't get it. I'd done theoretical computer science with recursion from like it just like, anyways. So I love that, like that, you're giving back, but you're really getting a gift in return, right? Because you're getting to deepen your learning and have that confidence that comes with that, right? So good.
Definitely, yeah. I feel like that's always the gold standard, right? Is I feel like you never really understand something until you can break it down and explain it and teach it.
Exactly. Like being able to make an analogy, even if it's someone who's non-technical, right? Like, can you really explain it? Like, do you know it well enough to explain it simply, right? Like that's like the next level. Right? Like we all aspire to. So awesome. I love that, Braden. Thank you so much. You are such a valued part of our organization. Thank you so much for being you and for showing up today and sharing your gifts with the world. Super excited to have you. If you have any other questions, anyone watching at home, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find us on social. I dropped a couple links in the chat. You can see them on the screen there. TechJoy.software and techinnovators.com with an 8. Innovators. The 8 is an 8. AT is an 8. We'd love to, welcome you in any of our programs. But yeah, just so grateful for Braden today and just so excited for the fun projects that are coming down the pike. Now that we've got our organization really cooking and we can really create software in like a month. Like that's a pretty cool superpower, right? Right there. So loving that. So thank you so much. Awesome. Have a great one.
Thank you so much for having me today. Bye.